Bangladesh, a land of rivers and rice paddies, a symphony of vibrant green. From the air, it's a breathtaking tapestry of nature's abundance. But on the ground, a different story unfolds. Millions struggle with poverty. They fight for basic necessities. But amidst the hardship, hope flickers. It burns bright in the heart of a man named Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus is no ordinary man. He is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He is a pioneer of microfinance. He is the founder of Grameen Bank, a bank for the poor. But today, Professor Yunus faces a different kind of battle. He is fighting for his freedom. The Bangladeshi government has levied charges against him. His supporters say these charges are politically motivated. Protests have erupted across the nation. The world watches with bated breath. Yunus's journey began in the aftermath of a devastating famine. The famine of 1974 in Bangladesh was a catastrophic event that left millions in despair. The images of suffering and starvation were etched into the minds of those who witnessed it, including a young economics professor named Muhammad Yunus. He was a young economics professor then, teaching at Chittagong University. His academic career was promising, and he was passionate about imparting knowledge to his students. However, the stark contrast between the academic world and the harsh realities outside the university walls troubled him deeply. He saw firsthand the crippling effects of poverty. The slums and rural areas of Bangladesh were rife with destitution. Families struggled to survive, and the lack of financial resources kept them trapped in a vicious cycle of poverty. He was troubled by the traditional banking system. The banks, with their rigid requirements and high collateral demands, were inaccessible to the poor. Yunus realized that the very people who needed financial assistance the most were being systematically excluded. It seemed to exclude the poorest of the poor. The villagers, with no assets to offer as collateral, were deemed unworthy of credit. This exclusion perpetuated their poverty, leaving them with no means to improve their circumstances. He believed everyone deserved a chance to lift themselves out of poverty. Yunus was convinced that with the right support, even the poorest individuals could become self-sufficient. He spent time in the villages, listening to the stories of the people and understanding their needs. This belief sparked an idea: microfinance. Yunus envisioned a system where small loans could be given to the poor without the need for collateral. He believed that these microloans could provide the initial push needed to start small businesses and generate income. Small loans with no collateral could empower people. These microloans, though modest in amount, had the potential to make a significant impact. They could enable individuals to purchase materials, start small enterprises, and gradually build a better future for themselves and their families. They could start their own businesses. With access to microfinance, villagers began to explore entrepreneurial opportunities. They started small businesses such as weaving, pottery, and livestock farming, which provided them with a steady source of income. They could break the cycle of poverty. The success stories began to emerge, with many villagers transforming their lives through microfinance. The smiles on their faces were a testament to the power of Yunus's vision. His innovative approach was not just about providing financial aid, it was about restoring dignity and hope to those who had been marginalized for far too long. Yunus's idea resonated across borders. Grameen Bank, founded in 1983, became a model. Microfinance institutions sprouted up worldwide. Millions have benefited from these small loans. Women, in particular, have flourished. They have become entrepreneurs, providers, and agents of change. Microfinance, though not without its critics, has offered a lifeline to many. It has demonstrated the power of financial inclusion. It has challenged conventional notions of poverty alleviation. Section 5. A clash of ideologies. Yunus and the Bangladeshi government. The relationship between Yunus and the Bangladeshi government has been fraught with tension. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has long been critical of Yunus. She views microfinance with skepticism. Some speculate that her stance is rooted in a clash of ideologies. Yunus, a vocal advocate for social justice, has often challenged the government. He has criticized corruption. He has called for greater transparency. This outspokenness has earned him powerful enemies. Section 6. Legal battles and global outcry. The charges against Yunus. Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate and a pioneer in microfinance, now finds himself embroiled in a legal quagmire that has captured global attention. The charges against him have sparked widespread debate and concern, both within Bangladesh and internationally. The current legal troubles stem from Yunus's role in Grameen Telecom, a subsidiary of the Grameen Bank, which he founded to provide financial services to the poor. Grameen Telecom was established with the aim of extending telecommunications services to rural areas, thereby bridging the digital divide and empowering communities. This is a social enterprise linked to Grameen Bank, which has been lauded globally for its innovative approach to poverty alleviation. Grameen Bank's model of providing small loans to the impoverished without requiring collateral has been replicated in various parts of the world, earning Yunus international acclaim. He is accused of financial irregularities, including mismanagement of funds and improper financial reporting. These allegations have raised questions about the governance and transparency of Grameen Telecom's operations. Critics argue that such accusations undermine the credibility of Yunus and the institutions he has built. Yunus vehemently denies these charges, asserting that they are baseless and politically motivated. In numerous interviews and press conferences, he has maintained his innocence, emphasizing his lifelong commitment to social justice and economic empowerment. His supporters see them as a thinly veiled attempt to silence him and discredit his work. They argue that the charges are part of a broader strategy to stifle dissent and curtail the influence of civil society organizations in Bangladesh. Protests and rallies have been organized in his support, with demonstrators calling for justice and transparency. The international community has expressed alarm over the treatment of Yunus. News outlets around the world have covered the story extensively, highlighting the potential implications for global microfinance initiatives and the broader fight against poverty. World leaders, Nobel Laureates, and human rights organizations have condemned the prosecution, viewing it as an attack on a figure who has dedicated his life to improving the lives of the underprivileged. They have issued statements and held press conferences to voice their concerns, urging the Bangladeshi government to reconsider its stance. They call for the charges to be dropped, arguing that the legal actions against Yunus are unjust and detrimental to the cause of social entrepreneurship. Petitions have been circulated, garnering thousands of signatures from individuals and organizations worldwide. They warn of the chilling effect on civil society in Bangladesh, cautioning that the prosecution of Yunus could set a dangerous precedent. Human rights activists and social organizations in Bangladesh have voiced their fears that this case could discourage other social entrepreneurs and activists from pursuing their missions, ultimately harming the country's progress towards social and economic development. Section 7. Living Under a Shadow. Yunus's Perspective. Throughout this ordeal, Yunus has remained resolute. He continues to work. He continues to speak out against injustice. But the weight of the charges is undeniable.
It feels like a sword hanging over my head.
Yunus confessed in a recent interview. He spoke of the toll it has taken on his family and colleagues. He expressed concern for the future of Grameen Bank and its mission. Section 8. The debate over microfinance criticisms and rebuttals. Microfinance, like any development tool, has faced its share of criticism. Some argue that it can trap borrowers in a cycle of debt. Others point to instances of predatory lending practices.
Yunus acknowledges these concerns. He maintains that Grameen Bank operates ethically. He emphasizes the importance of responsible microfinance. He calls for greater regulation and oversight to prevent abuses.
Section 9. A country at a crossroads, the stakes for Bangladesh. This is a pivotal moment in the nation's history, a time when the decisions made will echo for generations to come. The case against Yunus is about more than one man's fate. Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Laureate and a global symbol of social entrepreneurship, stands at the center of a legal storm that has captured the world's attention. It raises profound questions about the rule of law in Bangladesh. The integrity of the judicial system is under scrutiny, and the outcome will either reinforce or undermine public trust in legal institutions. It has cast a spotlight on the shrinking space for dissent. Citizens are increasingly concerned about their ability to voice opposition without fear of retribution, and this case has become a symbol of that struggle. It has fueled anxieties about the erosion of democratic values. The youth, in particular, are worried about their future in a country where democratic principles seem to be under threat. The outcome of this case will have far-reaching consequences. It will not only affect the immediate parties involved, but also set a precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future. It will shape the future of civil liberties. Activists and human rights organizations are closely monitoring the situation, aware that the verdict will influence the broader landscape of civil rights in Bangladesh. It will determine whether Bangladesh can live up to its promise as a vibrant democracy. The world is watching to see if the country can uphold the democratic ideals it has long aspired to, or if it will falter under the weight of internal and external pressures. Bangladesh has a rich history of fighting for its independence and democratic rights. The current situation is a test of whether the spirit of that struggle can endure in the face of modern challenges. The stakes are high not just politically, but economically as well. A stable and just legal system is crucial for continued economic growth and attracting foreign investment. The international community is also paying close attention. The outcome of this case will influence how Bangladesh is perceived on the global stage, affecting its diplomatic relations and international standing. Ultimately, the future of Bangladesh lies in the hands of its people. The decisions made today will shape the country that future generations will inherit. The stakes could not be higher. Section 10. A call to action. Stand with Bangladesh. The world cannot remain silent as these events unfold. We must stand in solidarity with the people of Bangladesh. We must demand the protection of human rights. We must call for a fair and transparent trial for Muhammad Yunus. Let our voices be heard. Visit credible news sources. Support organizations working to uphold human rights in Bangladesh. Section 11. The power of one Yunus's enduring legacy. Regardless of the outcome of this trial, Muhammad Yunus's legacy is secure. He has shown the world that even the poorest among us have the potential to rise. He has demonstrated the power of one person to make a difference. His unwavering belief in human dignity continues to inspire millions around the globe.